Hey sketchy friends, thanks for joining me in this video. So as usual, I'm just decided to do a bit of experimentation really. So I'm grabbing a few pens, grabbing some brushes and whatnot, and we'll get into it. So lately I have been experimenting with these kind of drawings where it's just pen and ink and then using a really bright colour, accent colour in the background. And I've been doing this with these Ecoline liquid watercolours. So these have been on my shelf here in the UK for a long time. I used to sort of mess around with them, but basically I've been staring at them thinking about what I could do with them. And this is kind of the result. So it's been a super interesting process to experiment with, and I really like the way it comes out. So I thought I'd share this process or technique with you guys, and hopefully it will encourage you to maybe have a go at a similar sort of thing, or it will open a few doors in your mind to try out something similar. Either way, I was just quite happy with how this went, so I thought I would like to share it with you guys. So this door is a photo that I found on Pinterest. It is pinned to my sketching reference board, which the link is in the video description below if you guys want to go check that out. I will also link to this specific photo as well. So I've done a rough drawing in pencil just to get my proportions right, and now I'm just going in with my pen. I think this is a 0.2 and it's just a uni pin fine liner. It's got waterproof ink in it, so it's kind of great for these little sketches. I'm not a massively amazing pen and ink artist just solely on its own, but I've really been enjoying just seeing what I can do with just a pen, and what textures I can achieve and the contrast and that kind of thing. So it's been really fun to just explore the pen kind of by itself, and I'm keen to sort of do more of this really, and more pen and ink with just a little bit less watercolour. I find that's kind of a good way to go, a good way to think about things. Or you can do more watercolour and less pen and ink when you're trying line wash techniques, so one doesn't overpower the other basically. So more of one, less of the other, and vice versa. So yeah, I've just been trying to get to grips with using some hatching, how best to express shade whilst also not getting in the way of texture. It is quite a technical medium. So I've revisited a few videos by kind of the master really, Alfonso Dunn. I'm sure you've all heard of him. I haven't actually got his book, Pen and Ink Drawing, but it is on my wish list. I think I might have to get myself that, especially if I want to develop my skills in this area, because he really kind of is the master, and he's got so much good advice. I mean, obviously he's got loads of free videos on his YouTube channel. Again, I'm sure you know who he is, but on the off chance you don't, do go and check out Alfonso Dunn, Dunn. So I'm pretty much using the 0.2 for the majority of this sketch, but I have got the 0.7 here as well, just to throw in some thicker lines. I also have my Sailor Feud de Manon fountain pen, the pen with the bent nib, on hand, but I think because I've just really filled it up very recently, I don't know, it's being a bit unruly. It's like expelling a bit too much ink for my liking, so it's being a bit, I don't know, it's making me nervous that I'm just going to get a huge splodge of ink on my paper at the moment, so I think it needs to settle in a bit. Maybe I overfilled it, I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me if that's a thing, I don't know. But yeah, it's just being a bit unreliable at the moment, so I'm leaving that one for the minute and just using 0.2 and a 0.7 uni pin. So again, just sort of working things out as I go really. I'm not staying explicitly close to the photo. I always find this impossible to do, and sometimes I just want to add my own flavour to things, which I think is fine. You get the overall gist. I'm still drawing that door, but there's a few details that maybe I make up, or I'll just embellish a little bit just to give it a bit more of my interpretation. I'm not a slave to the photo. I think it's a bit fun just to inject a bit of your own personality into things too. But yeah, drawing all these cracked walls and weathered items and stuff, it's always fun with a pen because your lines don't have to be straight. Actually broken up lines and whatnot really gives texture to things. And I was really enjoying drawing this wood grain on the door as well. It's just something I don't ever do, so it's been really fun to experiment with. I really liked the way the wooden planks at the bottom of the door came out. But yeah, I was just trying to make sure that I definitely had enough contrast everywhere. You know, I was feeling like everything was just a bit mid-tone. So that was definitely something I was kind of trying to make sure I was doing right. So yeah, these are the Ecoline liquid watercolors. I think they're just concentrated watercolor. They are super bright. They're amazing. But yeah, I just don't find much cool to use them. I went through a phase of enjoying like drawing like old school kind of tattoo flash, which I think this these colors are really good for. So yeah, I've got them in two sets. So the first set's like yellows, pinks, and purples, and then this set is like green and blue, and then brown, grey, and black. I forget where I got them from, to be honest, but I think you can just get them on Amazon or pretty much any art store of your preference. They are good fun. I just don't have enough application for them personally myself. But you know, if you feel like these colours and stuff might be fun in your work, then go for it. If not, you can have a go at the same technique just with a really bright watercolor paint that you have in your set. You know, I could have used the really bright turquoise that I have in my set, or I've got some strong pinks and yellows and oranges and reds. I just decided to try these out for this particular thing, but by no means you need to go out and buy these paints. And I'm just using my Escoda Reserva number 10 brush. As you can see, I've just sort of put a bit of the paint out in the palette with the, is it pipette? I don't know, with the, you guys saw anyway, with the pipette type of thing. Makes me sound like a, I don't think I've used that word since like school chemistry classes. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I didn't try the green before I put it down, so I was actually quite, wasn't quite the shade of green I was actually expecting, but that's okay. Just want to quickly mention, guys, that I do have my Sketchy Adventures in Ink and Watercolour course available. We cover these three projects that you can see on your screen, and I take you through them step by step in real time. So do check out the link below. Of course, I also have my Sketchy Adventures Around the World ebook, which is the last 3 years of my travels, over 130 of my ink and watercolour sketches. So check that on the link below too if you fancy. So yeah, not quite the green I was expecting, but that's okay. You know, it was always going to be obnoxious and I like it. So I decided to go round the kind of cracks and bricks and whatnot. Again, this was just me thinking on the fly, really. All of this is just totally going with the flow, seeing what happens. I really enjoy being more of an instinctual creator rather than thinking things through too much. And I'm quite happy to share that on screen with you guys. So yeah, none of this is ever really thought out that much, but I like experimenting with you guys. I think you enjoy it too. So yeah, I'm just trying to inspire you guys as well, just to pick up your pen, pick up your brush, and just do whatever you feel like, you know, have fun with it. So at this point, I kind of looked at it, and I think I even showed it to my mum, and I kind of looked at it, you know, with my head tilted, and I was like, there's something missing though still. It's not quite as impactful as I want it to be. So I decided to get the food pen out and be very careful with it, and actually it calmed down a bit, so it was fine. So I went through and really added some black bits just to really push the contrast a bit more. So I'm just really squinting my eyes while I'm looking at the photograph. I'm really like, where are those black bits, you know, and then adding in bits and bobs here and there. The thing is, there's a fine line. You don't want to overwork it, so you don't want to end up putting black everywhere and it's being like, oh, because there's no coming back from that. But just squint your eyes and just look for the really blackest parts and do your best to just add in a few bits and bobs. And then I kind of decided I wanted to go over the green again just to see what would happen. It came out a bit streakier than I would have liked. I'll show you the orange one in a minute, which came out super smooth. So maybe, I don't know if it was just me not laying it down. Well, obviously it was me not laying it down very well, but the orange background came out super smooth. But it's still fine, you know, and the added layer of green did pump things up a little bit. It wasn't too overpowering, but it did kind of make things a little bit better. But I still thought there was something missing. So again, I'm still kind of messing around, faffing, like adding in some more shadows and bits and bobs. So here you see what I mean with the orange background. It just was a lot smoother. So I think I was like kind of flicking between the ones I'd done previously and just trying to analyse what might be missing from the green one. So you can see the pink one's a bit of a mess, but that's just because that really was my first go. And then I was like, oh, I quite like this, so I'm going to do another one. And then I did another one, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do another one on camera for you guys too. And then I decided what it really was missing was the ground. The ground was just too white and too bare, these cobblestones that I'd put in. I decided to go through and add in some texture and some shade and whatnot to the cobblestones. The thought of doing this to all of the cobblestones at this stage, because I'm over an hour by this point, I was like, oh, this is going to sound bad, but I was like, I really can't be bothered, to be honest with you. It just seemed like such a big job at the time, and I just, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, so I decided to just do a few, and actually I think that worked out for the best. I think it adds just enough accent, again without overworking it, so I was quite happy with just picking out a few of the cobblestones and adding a bit of texture to those. It's definitely something I think I've seen Ian Fennelly do before in his, when he adds cobblestones to a picture, is he just does a few, or just accents a few areas, you know, and I think that works quite nicely. So yes, it's the finished sketch. I'm pretty happy with it, to be honest. I'm happy with some of the textures I achieved with the ink. I do like the green in the background. And yeah, I think doing some more heavy pen and ink drawings are in my future, actually. I think I'd quite like to experiment further with it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I know it's been a little bit different, but hopefully it inspires you to try something new. And I'll see you in the next one.